Greetings, geeks. Adam coming back at you with another edition of Half Issue Hullabaloo. And this is a moment to celebrate because we launched this weekend our Kickstarter campaign for Armored Half. That's right, a 10-page armored story by Michael Schwartz. That's right, my co host on Wizards, the podcast guide to comics. But flip it around, and what do you get? Ooh, you get Wizard Magazine style features, amazing original art. There's so much cool stuff in this, guys. You're going to love it. A visual guide to every half issue comic that Wizard released. And so, speaking of which, I just wanted to say, in the mail this weekend, we actually got a few more that we needed for that visual guide. We had all the half issues, but some of them were the special edition. So, for example, we needed the regular Battle of the Planets cover. So now we have that. But also we needed the regular Gear Station. Anybody remember Gear Station? So those are rounding things out. Those will be part of our visual guide. But the reason that I wanted to give you one more video today is that the cover that has now been revealed to Armored Half is actually an homage to Spider-Man Unlimited #1, which came out during the Maximum Carnage event. You know, you got Spider-Man swinging, you got Carnage behind him. Well, that's what we put in as the basis, for Armored Half to give you that little pin of nostalgia there. So we are going to be reviewing the Spider-Man Unlimited half issue. However, it's a different Spider-Man Unlimited. That's right. They reused it because Spider-Man Unlimited was the animated series that carried on the legacy of the animated series that started in 1995 that everybody really remembers on the Fox Kids network. But by the end of the 90s, they're like, well, we've got to refresh him, and we're going to send him to an alternate reality that's kind of a future. And I've discussed this on the podcast in the past. I've watched a few episodes. I did not care for the animated series. However, reading this comic actually gave me a new appreciation for the concept and realized maybe it was the execution of the cartoon itself. So the special thing here, obviously, we have an homage to Amazing Fantasy 15, but this image actually appears in the book itself, which is kind of fun. They use it as part of the storyline. And you might say, well, why is this new Spider-Man in a costume that's unfamiliar carrying the regular Spider-Man? Well, what's going on in this story is that they set up what you do see in the cartoon, which is there was this probe that was sent to this counter Earth, and John Jameson, the astronaut, J. Jonah Jameson's son, got lost on the other side. And while the rocket was being launched and stuff, there was an attack by Venom and Carnage, and Spider-Man was fighting them, and people thought Spider-Man was trying to sabotage it. Very similar to, I believe, Amazing Spider-Man #2, or is it the second story in the Amazing Spider-Man #1? Something like that. I remember a very early story where Spider-Man is stopping a rocket from being attacked, right? Sabotaged, and he gets blamed by J. Jonah Jameson. Anyway, so what's going on in the story, though, is Spider-Man becomes a hated figure. And so people are literally not burning him in effigy, but they're beating Spider-Man dummies in the street. When he tries to save people, an old lady sprays him with mace. It's rough times for Peter Parker being Spider-Man. So he thinks it's the perfect time to go to this counter Earth, right? Which I found kind of funny. He's just well, if he's going to be gone, they won't miss him. But somebody does miss him, and that is his #1 fan, Flash Thompson. So that Spider-Man you saw was an imitator, a fan trying to fill the void. Flash Thompson says, I thought I could fill the void. Spider-Man says, it's me. He's like, what? It's really you? What is this new costume? But anyway, so Spidey kind of tells him he's not going to be around for a while, and he goes and hides himself away, gets into the rocket, and goes to the counter Earth, and the series starts. So this really is a half issue because it's kind of like some moments in between what we see on the cartoon. So it works well. Now, I will also say, just because you get so much more context in this issue, I might have preferred, I know they released a few issues of this Spider-Man Unlimited adaptation, I assume. Maybe they were original stories, but I kind of want to read those more now because it works so much better as a comic book than it did as a cartoon. So I may check that out. Now, the other thing that was special about this, though, is that The artist was Min Koo, okay? And Min Koo was a Kubert School graduate who Wizard did a profile on as he was getting everything checked out with his portfolios. He gets hired by DC to do some stuff in the animated style later with like some Justice League, the animated series, all that. But also, they were doing this half issue with Marvel, and Wizard suggests, hey, why not have Minku do it? Because he does this cartoony style well. So what's interesting about that, though, outside of the fact that Wizard kind of hooked him up with this gig, is that in the back they have the sketchbook feature, which Armored Half has a sketchbook feature as well. That was something that was always a part of the half issues. But unfortunately, they say here this sketchbook is being told by Andy Kuhn, the artist on the book. I think Minku was so new, or there was some miscommunication in the Wizard offices when they put this together, because here it says Minku and Andy Smith is the inker. So they kind of took Andy Smith and Minku, but then added an end. I mean, it's very confusing to why they thought that it was. We're gonna read this again here. Not Minku and Andy Smith, but Andy Kuhn, Kuhn, the artist on the book. So there was a little bit of a flub there. Maybe they were rushing it out. Who knows? But that's just a little fun fact about the Spider-Man Unlimited half issue. And maybe they reprinted it. Maybe you have a version that has the correct one. Tell me, do you have Spider-Man Unlimited half? And you can confirm that they corrected it at some point. Who knows? But anyway, thank you so much for checking out this video, and thank you to everyone that has contributed to our Kickstarter so far. We're well beyond our goal now. We've broken 2,000. We have more than 50 backers. We'd love to get that beyond, because we have some awesome stretch goals that if we reach those, people are going to start getting stickers, a print of the cover, and other things that may come along if this continues to grow. The campaign ends on December 20th, and there are only 500 printed copies that will be mailed out by the end of the campaign. So if you want to get your hands on them, now's the time. Just go over to Kickstarter, search Armored Half 1/2, and then you can put Wizards after that, and you'll find it. You should be excited to see everything else that is going to be a part of this book. I think you will be really enjoying it if you're a fan of Wizards, the podcast guide to comics, and Wizard Magazine, obviously, which is what we're celebrating here. So go ahead and check it out. Thank you again to everybody who has contributed. And until next time, keep your books bagged and boarded.